See if we can figure this out. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, very good. So what if there were a company who had paid out over $100 million in advertising revenue to app publishers, and Facebook app publishers, mobile app publishers, and nobody had ever heard of them? What if there were a company that had driven over 200 million customer acquisitions for app developers, mobile and Facebook app developers, and nobody really knew who this company was? Well, I'd like to introduce you to LifeStreet Media. We are this company. I just read the first sentence from this article from a few weeks ago in Pando Daily, describing how we had just done a $66 million investment round. And it's sort of funny, the reporter had described a company like this would have a tough time staying under the radar. And so now we're out from under the radar, sort of just out from under stealth mode. Having said that, this is a roadmap for how I hope we'll spend the next 8 minutes talking a little bit about the market that we serve, a little bit about LifeStreet Media, and a little bit about why it is that we're winning. But the punchline is, if you think Facebook is a big deal, if you think that mobile is a big deal, and if you think that apps are a big deal, then in-app advertising is a big deal. And LifeStreet is the leader in in-app advertising. Mobile apps are a big deal. There are over 1 million mobile apps, and folks are already describing how global in-app advertising will be a multi-billion-dollar industry. And social apps are a big deal. There are over 9 million social apps and websites integrated with Facebook. As I said, LifeStreet Media is the leader in in-app advertising. So if you are an app developer, and you are bringing into existence an app, whether that app is a Facebook app or a mobile app that's going to be in front of the eyeballs of consumers, and you have an opportunity to show advertising, you want to turn that ad space into money. In fact, you want to turn that ad space into the most money that you can turn it into. Right? And on the flip side, if you are, for example, an app developer, and you have a business model where you make money in a different way, selling virtual goods, for example, you want to build your audience. You want to be at the top of the hit parade, at the top of the app store, the most popular list. And for you, LifeStreet Media is a customer acquisition machine. In fact, as I said, we've driven over 200 million customer acquisition events for some of the largest companies out there. So in the Facebook app world, LifeStreet Media is the #1 in-app advertising solution. For iOS and Android apps, we are experiencing exceptional growth. We are acquiring vast quantities of new customers for our partners. We reach a monthly audience in excess of 350 million users. All of this is propelled by a technology platform that we've been building since late 2005 called RevJet. I will tell you more about it, but it is changing the optimization landscape, and this technology allows us to turn any digital user experience into more money than other folks can. We've invested over $25 million and over 175 man-years of research and development into this platform. The company itself is very profitable. In fact, we became profitable on less than $1.8 million of capital. This will be our 6th consecutive year of growing profits. And as I said, we've just announced a $66 million investment from Nautic Partners. By way of background, we are closely associated with the whole app ecosystem movement. We think apps are a big deal. We launched LifeStreet ads inside the Facebook app ecosystem back in 2009. Now, at that time, the market leaders were Google and Broadview, who had raised over $125 million of capital, and social media and other venture-backed companies. LifeStreet surpassed all of them within 6 months to become the #1 player on Facebook, and we're anticipating similar success in mobile. 70+% of the largest Facebook app developers are partners of LifeStreet, whether they are publishers of ours, whether they are advertisers of ours, or in some cases both. We have hundreds of direct advertisers, some very large folks, some very small folks, and then thousands more through the LifeStreet exchange, which is a way that folks can access LifeStreet inventory indirectly, which is the data. But why it is that we're winning? Folks ask, how is it that you entered this fray, for example, in Facebook and now in mobile, against some of the world's biggest companies, against some very well-funded competitors? Why is LifeStreet winning? Well, the answer is this RevJet revenue maximization platform. And without taking you through the speeds and feeds of the platform itself, what it is a revenue maximization platform. It sits on top of a technology that we've invented called universal object serving. Universal object serving is, think of it as a second cousin to ad serving. It's a technology like ad serving that allows us to do iterative high velocity testing on many and eventually any digital revenue driver. Something that's instantiated digitally that affects your revenue ought to be tested, and it ought to be tested all of the time. Testing historically in this world has been episodic. It's been an event. Testing has been panel-based. It's been sample-based. I'm going to take 5% of my traffic and I'm going to conduct a test. And don't touch anything, you'll mess up my test. With RevJet, testing is perpetual. Testing is a way of life. It's not episodic. And there are many tests going on at the very same time in this ever non-ending march, never-ending quest to maximize revenue. It's not 5% of our traffic that's being used for testing. It's 500%. What I mean by that is each impression can and often is participating in multiple tests at the same time, all against the objective of maximizing revenue for you, the app developer, who want to turn that ad inventory into money. I'll share with you a couple of quick examples. One, creative optimization. So the details of an ad matter quite a lot. The only difference between these two ads is the color of the button. One's green, one's purple. That shouldn't matter. Well, guess what? It turns out that one produces 27% more revenue. That's worth knowing. So good creative is a science. It's not an art. It's impossible to just guess. You have to test everything really, really fast. One example on behalf of Zynga. This is an example of a series of tests where we did over 38 rounds of testing involving dozens and dozens of ads, where we generated a 484% increase in the revenue that was produced per 1,000 impressions using RevJet technology. One more example. This is an ad that was given to us by Zynga, a Castleville ad. And here's an example where in just hours or days we produced variations which created 72% more revenue. Look at the ads. They don't look that different. Who would know that one of these produces 72% more revenue than the other? Having said all this, this technology, and we're just now wrapping up, this technology does not just apply to visual revenue drivers. It also applies to logical revenue drivers. So for example, targeting algorithms. Which campaign should I show? I have an opportunity to show an ad right now. It's above the fold. It's to a user in Redwood City. It's on app 123, and it's 10:30 in the morning. Which campaign should I show? Well, that's easy. I'll just look at my data, and I'll choose the campaign that produces the most revenue. Well, query me this. Which data? Should we look at the last 24 hours of data, or the last 12 hours of data, or the last 7 days of data? Should we look at just California data? Should we look at the continental United States? Should we look at all day long of data? Or should we look at just maybe morning data? Maybe people behave differently here at 11 o'clock in the morning than they do at 11 o'clock at night. Well, you want to be able to test these different algorithms. There is no right algorithm. RevJet, in the same way that it allows us with universal object serving to test various creative ideas, we can test algorithms. We can create algorithms 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, push them into the real world, and see which generates more revenue. And if algorithm 7 is producing more revenue, ramp it up, and create algorithms 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, and test again. Rinse and repeat. Iterative high velocity testing. I'll say it one last time, iterative high-velocity testing of many and eventually any digitally instantiated revenue driver. This is how we maximize revenue. LifeStreet Media is an exciting company. We're doing some cool things. We're in some significant markets. I thank you for your time.